Lessons from my trip to Europe. In May of 2017, I traveled around Europe by myself for a month. Today, I'll discuss my journey and the lessons I've learned about the benefits of traveling. When I decided to take a gap year before starting college, a professor recommended that I travel abroad to broaden my horizons and expand my perspectives and interests. Although I usually like to sit hunched over my computer screen at home, I decided to venture out of my comfort zone and experience a different continent. Also, when I saw my friend's Facebook post with pictures of the magnificent Swiss Alps, I thought, man, I need to go there too. I also wanted to see the great treasures and walk where the historical luminaries walked, like the kings and the Mozart and Leonardo da Vinci. However, at first, I was hesitant about going. My biggest concern was, isn't it really expensive? Second, is it safe? I'm only 18, and don't I look like an easy target for thieves? Will I be able to live by myself for a month? Aren't there terrorist attacks? But everything worked out fine. I went low budget and spent about $5,000 in total, which included flights, lodgings, and tickets. And I didn't go into any shady streets, so overall it was safe, except for a few incidents here and there. So, with one suitcase and a backpack, I jumped on the plane to London and then traveled to across Europe, mostly by train. And I usually traveled to the capital cities and explored the famous museums and attractions. So I arrived in London, visited Oxford for a day, and then took the bus to Paris, explored Versailles for a day, and then took a train to Berlin, then Prague, and just crossed like this. And each capital city seemed pretty similar, though I noticed some slightly different atmospheres and cultures. And let me discuss a couple of highlight moments from the trip. I saw a lot of wonderful architecture and parks in Europe. In Paris, I took the photo from here on the left, from on the top of the Notre Dame Cathedral, where the Hunchback of Notre Dame lived in Victor Hugo's novel. And you can see the Eiffel Tower here on the right. And on the right is the photo of the gardens of the Versailles Palace. The lavish Sun King built the enormous and impressive palace with a huge and carefully designed garden, which is as large as downtown Dallas. I was awed by how people from 1682 could build such a grand and exquisite place. Next, Paris has some of the best artworks in the world. For instance, on the left is the Liberty Leading the People by Eugene Delacroix, commemorating the French Revolution. You may recognize the scene from Victor Hugo's novel or the movie Les Mis. I was stunned to see the actual painting a few inches from my face. And just as I was leaving the Orsay Museum, I saw this painting on the right, hidden in the corner. Usually it's the adult sheep who's protecting its baby, but this time it's a baby sheep who's about the same size as the vultures, yet standing courageously against them. It's scary and heart-throbbing, isn't it? And while in Europe, I also got to fulfill some of my dreams, some of which I discovered on the way. On the left is the Neuschwanstein Castle in Fussen, Germany. This castle inspired Walt Disney to create the Cinderella Castle, the icon of the Disney world. I've always wanted to visit a great medieval castle and pretend to be king, and I got that check done. And on the right, I'm tandem paragliding in the Swiss Alps. I'm not only climbing the mountains like my friend's Facebook post showed, but I'm flying like a great eagle over the rocks and villages and waterfalls. It was a dream come true, natural style. I think totally worth the $200. And next, the Europe trip overall really felt inspirational. In Florence, Italy, I saw the sculpture David by Michelangelo. In the Bible, the young shepherd David defeats the giant Goliath with a single slingshot. And coming out of the medieval dark ages of superstition, David embodies the Renaissance spirit of intellect and triumph over seemingly impossible odds. He inspires me to study hard and think smart. Finally, perhaps the most memorable part of the Europe trip was seeing the Sistine Chapel by Michelangelo. Here is a scene from the Last Judgment, in which God decides who to send to heaven or hell, where good people went to next to God, and the bad went to hell with the snakes and the fire. Someone is holding Michelangelo's flayed skin. Perhaps he wasn't good enough to get into heaven. When Pope Sixtus IV saw it in 1477, he is reported to have been so scared that he dropped to his knees and begged God for salvation. I also felt my jaw drop in awe and felt similarly too. It really makes a difference seeing that in there. And so from walking through the grand architecture, seeing the heartrending paintings, and being inspired to live more fully, the Europe trip was definitely worth it. I've gained a greater understanding and appreciation of art and other cultures. I got to directly experience where history happened. And also, I gained a deeper understanding of myself and developed independence, self-confidence, and sophistication, if I may. Most importantly, I've learned that looking at pictures through Google Earth on my laptop doesn't really compare to physically traveling to a new place. To truly learn a new culture, I need to throw myself into that environment and live and breathe like the locals. Hope I can continue these travels if I can afford it. Now, where are you going next? Thank you.